Hey everyone, it's Jasmine Chanel here with another YouTube video. Unlike my other videos where I'm focused on traveling and showcasing my travels and adventure, this one's a little different. Excuse my lighting. There we go. This one's a little different. Some of you know that I recently got married in September. Yes, I got married during COVID. How I saved money, how I still made it happen. A lot of people are postponing their weddings, but you know what? When you know, and I was ready to get it over with and be done with it. This video, I'm gonna showcase some of the ways that we saved using the resources of people, family, to help me out. My husband, awesome. So the biggest factors were doing things, on our own that we could do, using our resources and our talents, our things that we know that we could do instead of paying someone else to do it. For example, in this video, I'm going to show you and I'm going to walk you through how you can make your own invitations, can design them, and then of course you go somewhere to print them. I use FedEx, but it saved me a ton of money because we invited so many people, so many households that we needed to send so many invites to. All you need is Adobe software. You don't have to be proficient at it, you just need to follow directions. I will showcase, I will lay it out, I will walk you through it. I will show you the packaging that we used, and it was, we still had our unique outdoor vibes. We got married in his parents' backyard. Another way we saved a ton of money, and especially during COVID, we didn't have to worry about regulations and a venue canceling on us. I highly recommend, if you could do it outdoors somewhere, someone has a beautiful house, it's more memorable because typically you'll go back to that place and you'll remember your special day. So I use Amazon and Walmart to buy some supplies, but other than that, I designed everything from scratch. You can do it too. I think it's more sentimental when you do it yourself because you can pick the photos you're using, pick the font, Of course, you could do that on websites, on third party, but you don't need to. And you don't have to pay them, and you don't have to pay for websites. You could just do it yourself. And Adobe has free trials, so if you do it really quickly, you can use your 7-day free trial, print them out using FedEx, whatever's cheaper, and then cutting them up, packaging them, and then you have your own invitations. My favorite part of our wedding, which was our photo booth section. My husband built it. It was beautiful. I had the idea from Pinterest. We got all the supplies for the wood for free. We found it on Facebook. Use your resources. Facebook. I use Facebook for my photographers. My pictures turned out great. This isn't a video on how I saved. I will do that in another video. This video is just highlighting making your own invitations and making a photo booth that is, decorated for your venue. It's almost free. Like the decorations that you see on our photo booth was either from a thrift store, Walmart, or the backyard where we cut leaves and we just put them on the plywood out there. But if you aren't interested in seeing the invitation process and you want to just skip to the photo booth, I will put it on a time right here that you can just skip and fast forward to, and that will be where we start talking about the photo booth section. So let's jump into Adobe. Let me walk you through the process, and that way, you don't have to be an expert, you just need to know how to follow directions, okay? Okay, first things first, open Adobe here. We're going to create a new document, and we're going to change the width and the height. I'm not sure what your presets are, but I wanted my invitations long and skinny, so I'm going to change the width to 8 and the height to 4. There we go, that looks perfect. And this fits the envelopes that I purchased too from Amazon. I'll have that description here as well. One thing that I always do every time I do a new graphic or text picture, I always create a new layer, and that was with this plus button right here. We're going to create a new layer, and then we're going to find the photo that we want. Me, I wanted to use a photo that was taken on the day he proposed. Just going to find that in our documents here. We're going to click it, open it, and then place it on our layer here. Perfect. Then it should pop up. Okay, and depending on where you want it, either the left side or the right side, I think we're gonna go with the right side here. I'm gonna press enter, and then it is placed. Again, I wanna do something different, so I'm gonna create a new layer. But first, I'm gonna change the background color. And I want to use all colors coming from our photo. I want the theme to kind of match, and I wanna use all the same colors. So I'm gonna use the pen tool here, and we're gonna just click the color that I want, and then it's gonna auto populate the color in this color picker for my foreground color. And every time I click a different spot, it gives me the color in the new and then where it's current. So I want to look at and focus on that new color, because I'm gonna take this bark here from the aspen trees, and we're going to make sure that color looks good. Kind of want to play around with it. It's totally up to you. I definitely recommend using the colors from your photo. That way the whole theme of the invitation kind of will flow together. Okay, that's a little too dark. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to create another little square here in another layer. That way I can have two colors and not focus so much on that darker color. We'll keep that darker color in the background, and then let's see here. Yeah, we'll keep that in the background. And then I'm going to create a square so that I can have another color on that, if that makes sense. And I don't really like this pink, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab that pen, and I'm going to go click a color I would want. This is the color of the sky, and it just changed it for me. Perfect. I kind of like that, but let's see here. Anytime you want to, use the text, you're going to go over to this T on the left-hand side. And these are going to be my save the dates. So I'm just going to write that, type that out, save our dates here, and kind of just play around with it. Play around with the font, play around with the color. I downloaded the Photograph signature font, which I really like. It's kind of elegant, formal, a little different than just bold, regular. And then I'm just going to play around with the size. You'll find a lot of times I'm just playing around with things, moving things around, trial and error, see what you like, what you don't like, and then switch it. I think I'm going to switch this hour. I want it a little bit smaller. So I'm going to take the text and I'm just going to play around with it. Let's see here. 24 looks good. I don't know if I want it centered or to the left here. We're just going to play around. Kind of want to move it to the center, go up to this T-like, icon to move it around, make it bigger. Again, trial and error. I definitely like the font. And a lot of times you'll see here, I'm always accidentally clicking. If you do Control Z on a MacBook, you could undo the last thing you did. So a lot of times I accidentally click things and I have to go back and delete it. And you see everything under my layer section. It's pretty layered, so I know everything that I've done. This, I need to change my password for Outlook, so this is gonna keep popping up. I apologize. Let's see here. I think I like that. I have to put more text in my save the date, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna keep playing around with this and moving it. I'm not sure if I like this color. It's black. Doesn't look bad, but we'll see. We'll keep messing around with it. And again, it's your save the date, so you can change it. You can make it customizable to you and your look. So that's the beauty of making your own invitations. Of course, we want our name, so Luke and Jasmine. here, but I definitely want to change the font. I want it to look different than the title of the invitation. So I'm going to use this font, the Burbass. And I'm going to make it a little smaller, and I definitely want to center it, but I got to find the size that I want and find out the position that I want it. Every time we want to move things around, again, we go to the little T cross, you know. One thing about Adobe is these little lines really help you center it so that everything is aligned how you want it. Sometimes our eyes are deceitful, so it's nice to use the lines that they have to get everything sized up. Again, a new layer because I'm going to do something else. That way, keep everything organized. That's very helpful too on the right hand side under your layers mask. It's always important to put your location on your save the date. People want to know where they're traveling to, how to prepare, and of course, you need the date and the location. Okay, so we're gonna just mess around and kind of size that up, get our lines straight, let Adobe help us out. You know, everyone's date's different, so we're just gonna keep this location and date for you. And kind of, again, play around with it a lot. So a lot of times it's all I do, and you know, this hasn't taken us long at all, and we're almost halfway done. So not difficult at all. You just have to know how to follow directions. One thing I also did before I started, I went on Google and I just looked at, you know, invitations that were online, and I found templates that I liked and kind of tried to mimic it. And you could do the same as long as you know how to do the basic things, then you're pretty much taken care of as far as like an outline or a blueprint on how you want your invitations or save the dates to look. I also want to add a little icon, a little like eye catcher. So I'm going to, you know, Google a heart. You know, we're in love, so let's find a heart that we can use, you know, that we're allowed to use. So I go under settings, look for commercial usage, so that way I have the rights to the photo and there's no copyright. So that's really important. Make sure that, you know, you're not taking anyone's image. I kind of like this heart, so I think I'm going to use this heart. I'm just going to take a screenshot, or you can save the image, and then if you're quick enough, you could just drag it to your Photoshop here. So I'm just going to place it where I want to. Ooh, that's way too big. So I'm also going to move it up so that the layer up above everything else, so that's it's sitting on top of everything. Of course, I want it behind the text, so I'll have to rearrange it in the layers mask to go behind, so it'll be behind certain text. Definitely want it on top of the color. So I'm just gonna play around with it. I really don't know where I want it. I just knew I wanted a heart, and I'm gonna size it how I want it and just, again, play around. Definitely have to move this down so it's behind the text on my layers mask, but again, above the color. And I'm just gonna hide everything. These eyeballs kind of hide everything you already have in your layers. It makes it easier to work on, you know, certain areas without getting distracted with other things. I'm just gonna zoom by just zooming on my mouse here, and I'm going to use the pen. Where's it at? No, that's not it. That's not it. Oh, there we go. I'm going to use the pen tool, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline the outer part of this heart because I don't want the white showing on the invitation. I just want strictly the heart. I don't mind the inside of the heart being white, but I don't want the square around it. So I'm just going to carefully, you know, Control Z when I mess up, carefully just get my pen tool right on, here we go, the heart. And we're just going to keep doing that. This is a process, but it's worth it because it's going to cut out the extra areas of the heart that I, you know, screenshot that I don't want. Almost there. almost there. And when we get to the end, we're gonna want to connect it to the first one that we started with. Control Z, I need to go backwards, go down here and bring it back up in a way that will connect to where I started. Perfect, that's what we want. Then to the right here, make sure that the layer of the heart is selected. So this is the heart, and I'm actually going to rename this so that I know in the future which one is the heart and which one's the actual photo of my husband and I. So let's go ahead and just rename this heart image. Perfect. So as that's highlighted, this little, I'm not sure what this is. The add Victor mask is the name of it. We're going to click that twice. Why didn't it do what I wanted it to do? Hold on. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, that's why it didn't do what I wanted it to do, because I named the wrong image to select to do the vector mask. So make sure you select the right image, or the correct image, not the right, but the correct image. So let's undo that name here, because that is not the correct name for it. This is actually the heart image, this layer. It's important that you work with the layer that is meaning to be messed with. So let's do that again. Click that twice here, the vector mask, and there we go. I just don't know where I want it. So let's play around again. I want to see everything here so I know how to visually understand everything that I'm working with. And you could see, I don't know, what works for me might not look good for you. So this is your invitation. So you get to tailor it however you would like. You're seeing why it's so important to have your layers organized and renamed if needed, because sometimes things won't work, but it's because you're not selecting the right or the correct layer. I kind of like that. We're almost there. I'm just going to play around with stuff. Oh, see, there's that Control Z, creating new layers for me when I don't need it. I'm trying to select just the save the date, because I don't know what color I want it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it black here. So use the text tool on the left, highlight it, and then go to the color swatch. And I think, again, like I said, I wanted to use everything from our photo to keep that color palette the same. So I used the marker tool to go find that green from the darkest green that I could find in the photo. And I think that's what I'm going to make my text color. Let's find it here. See how the new automatically gives me that color? I love that tool. It's so helpful in choosing colors. Let's see. And then, so because I did each text in a different layer, I'll have to do it, but I've copied the color code on the bottom here, the number. So all I have to do is paste it every time I highlight the text. I just go to the color swatch, make sure it's highlighted, and then go to the color swatch and paste that color in the color number. Again, that same green, keeping everything consistent with that image there. Play around with it as much as you need to so that everything's perfect and lined up. Use these lines to get everything centered. Kind of like it. I think it's almost done here. It's got some lining up to do, but other than that, I like the way. Nice, clean, simple, a nice photo, and I used everything all the colors from that photo, so everything will be consistent with my color palette of the photo. So, and I'm actually, because you can group these together if you wish. Click them both in your layer, the date and the location. You can right click it and then group them. Lots of playing around, but I think we're good now. So let's see. This location and date just doesn't want to sit right, but it's okay. We're gonna get it right. I think that looks good. I think it looks good. You know, again, this is just a rough draft. This isn't the actual invitation that I use, but it's very similar. I wanted to walk you through the process, and then of course you're gonna export it as a PNG. Save the dates, however you want to name it. Save in a location you can find it, and then you'll just email it to either FedEx. You can go on their website, Costco. Super cute. I love it. Super simple. It took us 20 minutes to do that, guys. 20 minutes. Yeah, I really like this. So that's pretty much how I made my invitations. I got my envelopes from Amazon, and they were really inexpensive. They were cheaper than going to Walmart, believe it or not, because of the quantity of invitations that we needed to send out. Use like a wool threading to tie the save the dates and the invitations together. Put them in a rustic style brown envelope, and this is kind of the overview of what everything looks like. And let's skip to the photo booth section. So the photo booth section was my favorite. It was an absolute necessity for me to have a place where my guests could create a memory of their own on our special day. My husband and I found the palettes off of Facebook. They were free. All we had to do was pick them up. So of course we got my father-in-law's truck and we loaded up the free pallets. He unscrewed them, nailed them together. All you need nails in a pallet, and kind of on the end he attached 2 large pieces of wood and they kind of like staggered across that way. Here's some images so that can give you a visual. Very simple. We layered it up with some fresh paint. It was kind of like a layer mask to just make it look more finished. So like finishing paint. Totally love our photo booth section. It was my favorite part. My guests loved it. So any questions, don't forget to subscribe, and I will have more content on just how to save on your big day. Till next time.